Hi, everyone. This is HCAM, and we're recording and we're live right now. So feel free to start whenever you're ready.
Why, Mr. Shepherd, it's a pleasure to see you. You're on mute.
Yeah, it has been a long time.
Yep.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
But I'm not in an official capacity tonight, but I'm back working, kind of helping out up the office till I find somebody to fill up the holes. But
Perfect.
yeah, it's good for me. Keeps me off the street. You know what I mean?
Go.
Take care.
Thank you, Michael. Mr. Shepherd. My meeting started. What? My meeting is started. I just spoke to John, so he should be on any second.
Up and Mike Heaton said he won't be able to make it tonight. So
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I couldn't find my invitation. Okay, let's get started with this. Read us in. Oh shoot! I have the old script.
It should be the same. You just got to change it to 2025.
Give me 1 second. Let me just have my hearing notice. I apologize. I picked up a second. I have it. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Appeals to order. This being November 12th, 2025. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipating the agenda are present can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. See, who do we have today? Mr. Burton,
Here.
Mr. Cohen. Okay, you're mute.
Yeah, wait, okay.
There you go.
I'm
I
here.
see.
I was trying to
Okay.
unmute myself.
Mr. Hunt,
Here.
Mr. Riley,
Here.
and I think that's all we've got.
No,
All right.
Sean is here.
I'm here.
Oh, Sean, there you are. Oh, shoot. Okay,
I'm here, John.
you're in the corner. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good, we got 6 of us. Excellent. Okay, staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Adina. You're here? Okay, I can see you. Okay, good. And John?
Present.
Thank you so much. This open meeting of the Board of Appeals is being conducted remotely. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website via the web meeting calendar list, otherwise noted. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted on a roll call vote. Mr. Shepherd, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you as well as the other folks.
You know, we could use you back in inspections. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
Just put it out there.
As a local builder, I could say we could really use you right now. But anyway, all right, I digress. I have, Adina, you just sent the notices over to me. I'm just going to move this a second and open up the notices that you just sent me. Hearing notices. Okay, we'll start with, oh, wait a minute, I wanted to make sure, I just have to make sure that that the people for 82, do we have people from 82 Clinton Street?
Yeah. Yep.
And Maple Street? Or Maple Street Extension?
Yes, George Connors from Maple Street.
Excellent, thank you, George. Okay, great. All right, now we get back to reading the hearing notice. The Hopkinton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, November 12, 2025 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the uniform application for a special permit petition or for variance filed by Aaron Stone, 23A Salem N Lane, Framingham, Mass. for a variance for the minimum frontage requirements on the zoning bylaws to create an additional building lot at 82 Clinton Street, Hopkinton, Mass. The property is shown to assessors map R1916-0 is owned by Home Formation Properties LLC, 23A Salem End Lane, Framingham, Mass. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email zba@hopkintonma.gov. Call the Department of Land Use and Planning and Permitting at 508-497-9745 or check the online meeting calendar agenda for this meeting at hopkintonma.gov. This legal notice is also posted on the Massachusetts Newspapers Public Association MMPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 26004. Okay, let me just open this back up again. Okay, so who's here for 82 Clinton? And who'd like to open us up and tell us what you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Aaron Stone here. I'm the owner. Just applying for the variance as you just stated. This is the first initial step that we've done. I've got Jay on here as well, who's supported me along the process. He's our civil engineering support. Basically, what we're trying to do is get some initial approvals for this lot to ultimately be subdivided. The initial structure that's currently on the property at the front has been deemed or preferably historic from the historic commission. I've been in front of them, and they were asking me if I could, preserve this property, and I agreed to this point and said, okay, no problem. I'm happy to do that, and follow the rules and regulations of how that follows. If I can still build a house on the lot, and so that's where we are right now. The lot is there's been few challenges to date with the civil work, but we're trying to work around everything we got going on to meet all parameters, and just asking right now for some relief on the approach to have a shared driveway and to subdivide the lot, knowing that the front lot would be smaller with everything we're working around, the wetlands and stuff like that. We're trying to stay out of all the buffer zones. So that's the big picture plan here, what we've got going on.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we have a lot of pages from you on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because both of these that are coming in front of us today have historical structures, and back I guess 20 years ago when I was on ZAC, and then the planning board. I remember when we were stressing when big tracts of land were bought up with an historical structure. One of the things that the town wanted to do was to encourage the preservation of these older structures when builders or developers wanted to put in new housing units behind it. And because many times they would just come in, knock down the historical structure, making everything a lot easier for them. And we did that purposely to try and have the developer save the old house and then try and work around it to put the new ones in. And I think it was done at Davenport and a few other places that we ended up trying to make that happen. And then the other thing that we did was to increase the demolition time, I believe, from 3 months to 6 months to try and discourage people from tearing down these structures, because the town does have a lot of history, and some of these are really worth saving, even though some of them are only 50 years old, and that's it. And I'm a heck of a lot older than that. But the ones that are getting very old are really important to save.
Right.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because it just reminded me of why we did this when I was on the planning board. But anyway, where's John? Mr. Geltich, do you what's the town's view? I was about to turn to Mr. Shepherd because that's what I did for the first 5 years on the board here. It was like, Mike, how do we look at this? But you're just here as a town person, so yeah, I will not pick on you.
So Mike is actually working part-time in the inspections office, so he could weigh in if he wanted to.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Yeah, so Mike, may I lean on you for this one to give us some background, because you were here when I was on the planning board changing all that stuff anyway. So yeah, you were here well before me.
The other thing I recall the vote at town meeting, and I recall the reason we voted for it, because obviously we wanted to save these older structures rather than just knock them down and build a whole bunch of new ones. That's about it. Again, we haven't had a lot of it come before the board, but we've been able to save a lot of old structures because of this part of the planning board and zoning board of appeals and their bylaws. From a personal perspective, I think it's a great idea, and it's just if we can save the old stuff, and of course I'm getting to be just about as old as the old stuff we're trying to save, so we're I think it's a good thing. But that's my 2 cents, John.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so any questions from the board to the proponent?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Arnold.
I have a question. Is there some special zoning bylaw that covers the situation where there's this historical building there and
Yes.
a developer wants to not tear it down, but then build a second house on a non-conforming lot?
Yes, sir. It's historic structure bylaw, it's section 210-117.2. There is a special section just for this.
And what does it say?
It says pretty much what we've just went over.
Yeah,
Go ahead, John. There you go.
yeah. I was just trying. I was just trying to find it. Oh shoot. Oh man.
John, I have it in front of me if you want me to read it.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
All right. A lot may be created which does not meet the size and setback requirements of this chapter upon the issuance of a special permit by the planning board, if the following criteria are met. 1, the lot has to be created within, well contained in a historic structure. 2, the historic structure will be located on the lot is either A, presently situated on a lot for which the application has been submitted to the town for approval of any single family or multifamily residential development, an approved not required plan pursuant to MGL 4181P, or a construction project subject to Article 20 site plan review, and the historic structure will remain in its present condition. Or B, plan to be moved from a lot or within a lot for which the application is submitted to the town for approval of any single multi-family residential development, and approved non-required plan pursuant to MGL 4181P, or a construction project subject to Article 20 site plan review. And 3 is the planning board finds that the proposed lot is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this chapter. And that's pretty much it.
I guess it just puts a little more legalese into what Mike and I both said.
So this is the bylaw says it's a special permit, but this is an application for a variance. So is there a reason for that?
That I can't answer. John, can you help?
Yeah, I can try to explain a little bit, but John, maybe you can help me a little bit more too. Basically, I think this was kind of like the first step in the whole process. There will be another permit application after this. This was our initial approach to come to the board with what we currently have for civil drawings and kind of lay out what we are proposing in terms of location of the proposed lot and shared driveway. So this is just basically to get approval to do what we're asking, to get approval on the shared driveway. And then the next step would be another special permits submission with a full set of civil engineering drawings, architect plans, and all the works. But the kind of phase one approach was to just get this in front of you guys to see what we want to do and make sure that everyone's on the same page, and then proceed with phase two. The other part of it was the current lot that it's on is non-conforming because of the frontage. I think the minimum frontage has to be 200 feet. This is 170 or 169 feet. So part of the approach is just to get that information out there too, to let everybody know that the front lot, which would be considered smaller than the minimum lot size, also we're going for relief for non-conforming frontage, essentially. Does that make sense?
I was gonna, excuse me, I'll jump in. This is Jay. I'm Jay Thrasher. Good evening, everyone. I'm helping Aaron here with the civil engineering. I think what's worth mentioning on top of what Aaron said is we understand that what's in front of you right now is not complete in the way of having a full PLS, professional land surveyor stamped drawing with the subdivision plan. This is us putting lines on paper that show our proposed lots based on some of the restrictions on the lot, mainly being the wetlands. And to Aaron's point that the front lot is currently not non-conforming. So this is, I just want to reiterate what Aaron said and say we understand that there's another step after this, but before we go ahead and really dig our heels in and pay for a lot more engineering the subdivision plan, if we can get some sort of conditional approval that where we're showing this proposed subdivision and lot line meets your criteria, that would be very helpful on our end.
Yeah, the way I saw it was that they need to come to the Board of Appeals so that we can allow them to continue to build on something that doesn't have 200 feet of frontage and a couple other things. But the planning board would then give them another special permit in order to actually construct the subdivision and continue to utilize that bylaw that both Mike and I opened with and that Jim detailed. So that's why there's more steps, and then they still got to go do more Concom stuff, because I know that lot has some issues with some waterway way in the back, and yeah, there's some topography issues that you're going to bump into also. So this is definitely just the first step, because if we say that they don't have enough frontage and we're not going to give them frontage, well, then that just kills the whole thing right here.
So we can't get conditional approval for the frontage that.
Well, no, that's what we would do. So there's certain things that we can do that we do here that you know, if and I look at the frontage part of it as more de minimis. That you still have to go in front of the planning board, because planning board does subdivisions. We don't do subdivisions. So the stuff so we are just the first step. And you know, and it's both the ones we're doing today with historical structures, that we're still just one step. But knowing the planning board, and the reason, as Mike and I opened up with, the reason why we did this was to preserve structures and to encourage builders and developers to do exactly what you're doing, to have to work really hard in order to fit in, you know, another building and still keep the historical structure and you know, in a nice looking environment. So you know, and this is what we try to encourage on the planning board, is exactly what you guys are doing. It puts more work on you guys to do, but in the long run, it makes the town a better place. There's a new structure behind or beside or next to the antique structure, but it keeps the antique structure available for everybody to enjoy.
John, would it be helpful if I shared my screen and just kind of walked through what we're proposing?
Sure. It's always helpful. That's 1,000 words right there if you show a nice picture.
Yeah, let's do that. So
keeps me from talking.
This is the document.
Riley smiling.
This is the document we had submitted to the board. So let me pull that up. All right. Can everyone see this PDF here?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So
zoom a little bit.
Yep, we'll zoom right in.
Beautiful.
So right off the bat, scroll out, give the 30,000 foot view here at first, which is this is the entirety of the lot. It stretches 650 feet back off of Clinton Street. We had the wetlands delineated by a wetland scientist, so we're feeling very confident in these locations. This isn't coming right off of MassGIS or anything. This is flagged and picked up by the surveyor. So it's a long lot, skinny in comparison to its length. And you'll see right here on this, I think that page, yeah, that's south. So the south side of the lot, we have a wetland that comes up, the 100-foot buffer comes up quite close to the existing. And on the rear, we have this other wetland coming up. So really the only buildable space to kind of steer clear of Concom is in this. Let me see if I can just mark this up real quick. Is this kind of area in here. There's an existing, let's focus on what's existing there right now. Coming off of Clinton Street is, let me see if I can just draw this in. Let's do this with red, is this driveway entrance right here. And that path, I'm not sure you can see it because of the line type. Oops, sorry. Hope you don't seizure from my, there we go. That entrance, if you can follow my cursor, comes right here. There's a gravel driveway that comes right to here where it says Stone Driveway. And that's the existing entrance to this house right here, 82 Clinton. What we're proposing is this lot line that is a 30-foot, this is the 30-foot offset from our proposed lot line. We have the 60-foot front setback. Clearly, the house on its current location doesn't meet the 30-foot side setback, again, making it non-conforming. Yeah, the math here in the front is 162.5 feet. So that doesn't meet the minimum frontage. And our rear lot here, what we're proposing is a 30-foot setback from the this property line. And we're going to maintain those side offsets of 30 feet. We would move that driveway slightly down here to follow the contours, staying outside of the wetland buffer zone, providing access to the rear site as well as the front. We came out, I think it was maybe a month ago now or 3 weeks ago with Board of Health, and we've done quite a bit of soil digging, some deep hole test pits with Board of Health. So it's all been witnessed. We filed the Mass DEP Form 11 and 12s, perked both the front and rear lot. So there's some confidence there that we'll be able to fit in a septic system for both of these lots. The front lot currently has one, but it's in the place of this proposed lot line, so we'd have to move that.
Yeah, that really helps.
So yeah, again, what you're not seeing here is the area for the proposed septic systems, but we've moved through with some preliminary engineering to make sure that that all fits.
Yeah, that wouldn't be us anyway.
No, I understand.
There are other people that'll ping you on that kind of stuff.
They'll pick us apart on that, right? I think that's a concern, though, that might be a challenge.
Okay.
What's the size of the? What's the size, Jay? What's the size of the existing structure?
Square footage?
Yeah.
Let me see. I've got it here in AutoCAD. It is just under 900 square feet.
And what's the size of the proposed second dwelling?
2,250. So I believe this front lot's a 3-bedroom currently septic wise, and we're proposing a 4-bedroom in the back.
That's the footprint. That's not going to be it's going to be more than.
Is it a single floor?
It'd be the footprint will be between 2,000 and 2,200. It'd probably be around 35 to 4,000 total square foot conditioned space. That would be probably 4 to 5 bed septic, probably a 5-bed, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, I have some questions. Now, I see from your submission that you bought the property, I think on July 25th, maybe about three and a half months ago. when you bought it, were you aware that you would be coming before us with this, this request?
No, sir.
Your original intention was to do a tear down and
That was my original intent. Yes, it was going to be just a, new construction home, and then, we've run into all of these hurdles. And so again, like I understand the town's desire to keep it, and I'm happy to do that. So, this is kind of where we're at. There's just a lot of nuances to this, and I just, a lot of hurdles, a lot of work, as you said, to getting to the finish line, which we're willing to do. We're willing to put in the effort, the work, the time, the money. It's just we're trying to figure out phase one if it's viable option to proceed to phase two. That's what we're kind of trying to get out of this meeting, essentially.
Is the existing house occupied?
No, it hasn't been occupied in a while.
So what would the plan be, to renovate it or something and try to sell that one too?
Either sell it or move into it or rent it. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I haven't really thought of the end game. It's just kind of trying to figure out what's doable, what's not. If I was allowed to, subdivide with my plans here, I would obviously have to go through the Historic Commission on what they would allow me. If an addition could be put on, or if they just want to keep it the same, footprint, and however that works. I've worked with different towns before and done some renovations, and, they have their regulations of what they want the house to look like and materials we want to use, which is fine. So that process would be kind of coming up with the architect and the building department, working together, and the Historic Commission on what they would require.
Excuse me, and I know it's not relevant to what we're deciding, but I have an interest. How old is that existing structure?
1915, I think it was.
Okay.
There was an addition on it, so there's a portion of it that was 1915. I believe that the second half was probably the 60s, but based on the look of it. But there's nothing on record, so.
Okay. And I know it's nothing to do with us. Historical, that's historic. Just curiosity.
It's definitely been added on. There's no record of it. So it's deeded as 1915, I think.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, is there, I haven't seen this, is there a, sort of coming for like an advisory or conditional approval? There isn't anything in the zoning bylaw that provides for that, is there? I know with subdivisions, there's something that.
No, we're not doing an advisory or anything like that.
Just a sense of the board sort of thing?
No, we would grant them relief on the, what they're asking for, the
Frontage.
The frontage, basically, it comes down to the frontage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all these questions that we're asking them, that's what planning board will be asking them.
Yeah, and then I knew that when I asked that. It was my own curiosity. It's nothing to do with my decision or my thought process. Okay,
so sorry.
So we're actually going to make like a final decision. That's what's before us tonight.
Yeah. So basically, they're asking us this. They're asking us for the frontage. They've got 162 and a half. Where we need 200, and also the lot requirement size is 60,000 square feet.
Yeah, because I thought when he made the presentation, he was talking about just like a conditional, or was it?
No, I think he might just mean, again, because they don't know, may not know how we work.
You'd have to come back to us.
All we can grant is what we are allowed to grant. We can't step over it and give them the special permit to build a subdivision. that goes to the planning board. But even then, for them to do anything, the entire lot, the lot might be forever long, but it's still only 162 feet wide. So we'd have to do something on that anyway.
You had mentioned the lot sizes too, is where we need that variance request. So lot 1, we're proposing here at 34,610 square feet. And then lot 2, just because we have all these wetlands back here, is 1.82 acres. So 79 change.
So those are the two things that you're looking for. That's what we have down here is that you're allowed to make one lot 34,000 plus 30,000 square feet instead of the 60, and you're basically looking for 40 feet of relief on the frontage.
Question also regarding frontage for the rear lot. How is that? Are you guys able to approve essentially the proposed rear lot would have no frontage to Clinton Street at all? How does that get handled in terms of relief on that lot?
I've got 3 of those in my neighborhood.
Well, yeah, in the table of dimensional relief, he's asking that it's 1.5 acre is lots. That's the minimum size, 60,000 square feet. And then it says the proposed is going to be 34,610. Is what's the total square footage of the whole lot right now?
Right, 113,901.
Oh, okay. All right. I see that.
So through the chair.
Yes.
Just to clarify what relief would be needed, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong. The proposed existing lot, so lot 1, that would be smaller, and that would include the historic house, because if they go for the special permit for the planning board through that special permit can reduce the size and dimensional requirements. So for that lot, the only thing that would be needed would be a variance for the frontage, because it doesn't meet the frontage, doesn't meet 200 feet. Then for the second lot, it meets all of the setbacks in the lot size, but it also does not have frontage. So it would need relief for 200 feet of frontage.
Okay. And then we don't have to do the size of the lot. The planning board would take care of that to 34, which is exactly the reason why we wrote. That's exactly the reason why we updated that bylaw, was to allow for something just like this, so that we could save the antique house.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, the request would be for a variance for the relief for the frontage for both of those parcels.
Can I ask, is that been done on a semi-regular, irregular basis? Has that been granted in the past where there's zero frontage allowed?
I mean, I'm sure it's been done in the past, because I know that there are lots with no frontage, but I don't know when the last time it's been done. The town generally tried to get away from the pork chop lots, which is what these are called, because you've got like a very small driveway leading to the road, and then the lot is behind another lot. A lot of towns get rid of that just because it's tough for fire and emergency services and stuff like that. But, in this situation, they've got the historic structure on the front part of the lot, so they really can't move that to the back part of the lot.
I have a pork chop on either side of my house.
Yeah,
I can show everybody the way that mine was created, and there's another one down on Andrea. So there are 3 within 100 yards of me.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Right, because I'm a little confused, because 210.117.2 essentially grants the right for that front lot to be created. Okay. Now that as it stands now is non-conforming because it does not have the 200 feet.
Correct.
Okay. So if they were to come to us for some other type of change, we would say, well, it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot, and it would probably be granted relief. I'm trying to understand how 210.117.2 is created, because the situation where you have to put the new lot, if you will, on the back side of the property has to have been contemplated, but yet there doesn't seem to be a mechanism for easy relief. Meaning this situation where there's zero frontage would have had to have been contemplated at the time that 210.117.2 was created. Because the only way that you can accomplish what is desired and what is allowed for is to have zero frontage. I mean, I think we're in a quagmire where I don't think we can deny relief, because I think the bylaws provide for the creation of lot 1. Therefore, by default, we have to grant zero footage for lot 2.
Exactly. And that's exactly why we created the -2, was because, many times you had to knock down the antique house in order to do anything. And so if you read it, continue to read in there that, it talks about the side setbacks and everything else that we were trying to bend over backwards to preserve Hopkinton's history. And because there was people would just come in, especially when it was only 3 months delay. It was just like, okay, hey, we'll just wait 3 months and we'll tear the house down and we can have whatever we want. And we were trying to bend over backwards to keep the history. And I'm just really, when we were proposing this, I never thought that I'd be in a position to actually see it happen. It sounds weird, but it's actually exciting for me to see a bylaw that we wrote and actually working. Because we were actually chasing it at the time. Things were happening, and it's just like, how can we save these houses? And it's actually just to see a bylaw actually work. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. But I don't see a way that we can, if the bylaws restrict the owner's economic rights by virtue of not being able to knock down that house and build something larger, then there has to be an equal balancing to allow zero footage to enable him to build lot 2. I'm assuming, Concom and all that other stuff works out.
Yep. Yeah, but I don't think there's anybody on the planning board now that was around when we had the intent of the bylaw, which is sad.
John, can we look to see if there's a public interest?
Yes. Okay. Are there any members of the public that would like to chime in? Please, if there are multiple, please give your name and address, and then we'll call on you individually. You'll have 2 minutes to give your input. Wow. Okay. This was about the way people are interested in this one. Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Hunt, do you have anything? Mr. Burton, do you have anything? If not,
I'm on the historic commission, so I remember when this came across our desk, and I'm fine with it.
Oh, that's great. I forgot that you were on there. That's awesome. Okay. We got a little flavor of everything. Okay. 3 lawyers.
I had just an additional element of the layout here I wanted to point out. It's the existing structure is also within the 30-foot side setback. I'm not sure if you can see that. This dashed line here is our 30-foot setback from the property line. So similar to that frontage where we don't have the full 200 feet, we also, in this non-conforming lot, can't meet the 30-foot setback.
What's the number that's there? Is that an 8? I can't see.
I've actually got it here in AutoCAD.
9.6.
Yeah, 9.6 to that corner.
9, so you need 20 feet there. Okay. All right.
And my last question here is in terms of the setback from the front of the lot being 60 feet, we achieved that in the existing lot. But if we're considering this zero frontage here, we're proposing a 30-foot setback from that property line.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's something.
No, that's good. Well, no, because if you know, well, what is this front setback? Is it 60? What is
That's
the
what I
front set-
pulled from the tables. That's correct.
Okay, it is 60. Okay, so and
So this rear lot, again, we're not considering this frontage. It's a lot line. So I'd kind of like to hear your guys' comments if there's anything specific here.
yeah, John or Mr. Shepherd, would that be considered front or side? Or Mr. Masterson, since you were the one that pointed out, you're
The
right.
side, the
I'm going to
side
go with
fa-
you, Sean, too.
The side facing the road is a front, sir.
Okay, so
So
that
they would need a variance for 30 feet of relief from the front setback.
okay, and that is definitely due to topography being
Absolutely,
Yeah,
you got wetlands all around it. So
yeah, wetland all around it. Okay, excellent. All right. Okay, so we've got we need 30 feet of front, 20 feet of side, and 40 feet of frontage.
20.4 feet on the side, yeah, for lot one.
Right, but we round up to, just in case you miss it by 6 inches, and
Great.
Mr. Shepherd is the inspector, and he comes over there with his laser,
Great.
and he will yeah. So we try and give the extra 6 inches or 12 inches, just so that is as a builder myself, when they're putting the forms down and digging the hole, not everybody is as accurate as they should be.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Just a point of clarification, and Mike Shepherd could weigh in on this. The way that the regulations are written, it's a minimum setback from the street line, not a front yard. So is it from the property line or is it from the actual street line?
I think you have to go with street line.
So it definitely is 60 feet from the street line.
I say street.
Okay. And Mr. Shepherd smiling. So we do not need that front setback. Oh my goodness! I am so glad we get an easy one now. We've had a few hard ones recently. This is
Chairman,
yes.
I don't really understand it, maybe because I would have preferred to have been able to sit down and read that bylaw, but I don't understand the planning board under this bylaw gives the special permit.
Right. So the planning board,
That's not a special.
right, that bylaw really doesn't affect anything that we're doing in reality, other than the fact that I know what the planning board is what their thought process is, and also for us to keep in mind that the new structure, or actually the both old and new structure, are subject to the -2. Most especially the old one doesn't have to have all these setbacks, but they are giving it enough room for the new one away from the old one and all that. So really, that bylaw is for a special permit that only the planning board will give out.
And the special permit, what relief is the special permit giving?
It's actually allowing them to build the second house and creating the first lot, which is smaller than 60,000 square feet. So that's what the planning board will do. What we're going to do is say that is a non-conforming lot already, and giving them some width, and then 20 feet of side setback. That's all we're doing. So I actually made it more complicated by opening with what I did and bringing up the.
I'm not sure about it. You know, I'm not.
I may have made this more complicated by bringing up that bylaw, but it was really great that what Mr. Masterson did
Maybe,
was actually say, you know, that it absolutely has no frontage.
So maybe my suggestion is, since I don't understand, you know, maybe the I can be not be one of the 5 who's voting on this.
Okay.
Because I don't
And
feel.
we've got 6 today, so it works.
I understand why, you know that it's entitled to a variance for a, you know, how the bylaw, let's say, permits it to have a variance when it's an undersized lot, unless. So maybe, you know, but.
Yeah. So so basically, it's the planning board that's going to allow them to have the undersized lot. All we're saying is that we find that the width is going to be okay, and that the side setback is going to be okay.
All right.
And then the planning board takes care of the rest of it.
My suggestion is that maybe I be the one
Okay.
not voting.
Mr. Hunt, are you comfortable voting on this one? Okay.
I suggest you. Mr. Shepherd has hand up.
They could go to the planning board first, but the planning board can't give a variance for the type you're looking. You're the only guys who can do it. So what it is a two-party thing. They come to you first, so when the planning board votes on it, they know you got a variance for the frontage and the special permit for the side setback. Otherwise, the planning board can't give them anything because they can't do those things. So that's why it's like this. It is kind of confusing, but there are 2 separate bodies in town pretty much talking about the same thing. You do one thing, they do the other. That's all it is. Pretty simple. I'm sorry, I'll stay out of it.
Yeah, but I tend to think it's been better to go to the planning board because we're voting on a lot that doesn't even exist to give it a variance.
No. We're not giving a variance to the planning board will create that lot. We're just saying that the current lot at 162 is okay to build on. That's all we're really saying. And then the planning board will create the 34,000 square foot lot. We're not creating that. We're not creating the back lot. We're not doing any of that. We're just saying that at 162 feet of frontage, it's okay with us. And then the planning board will take care of that whole -2.
All right. Well.
Can we try and stay in task? And at this point, if there's anything more for the public to ask, otherwise I'm going to ask to close the public.
Is there anybody from the public? Hearing none.
Motion to close the public hearing.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to close? Hearing none. Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
And Masterson, Riley, is it just me?
Yep.
Okay. And I vote the affirmative also. Okay, public hearing is closed. Is anybody ready with a motion? If not,
I think we can do the findings. I think John prefers when we do the findings first.
Okay. He's nodding his head. Okay. I find that the Board of Appeals find the following as it relates to the proposed development at 82 Clinton Street. The applicant has stated their intent to subdivide the current lot into 2 lots through the process of lots with historic structures set forth in section 210-117-2. However, the proposed new lot will be located at the rear of the existing lot, will not have frontage along Clinton Street. The historic dwelling unit is located at the front of the existing lot. The request for a variance, if granted, would waive the requirement for frontage along Clinton Street for the proposed new rear lot. The applicant will file an application with the planning board to address the dimensional noncompliance of the front lot through the process outlined in section 210-117-2 of the zoning bylaws. The applicant has stated that the rear lot would gain access to Clinton Street via a shared driveway through the front lot. That owing to the circumstances related to the soil conditions, shape, or topography of the land structures, but not affecting generally the zoning district which it is located, a literal enforcement of the provisions of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial and or otherwise. Specifically, this includes the wetlands and the shape of the lot. That number 5, the describable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and that the desirable relief may be granted without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent and purpose of the ordinance or bylaw.
You want us
Okay.
to vote on the findings?
John usually likes 2 votes. He's going to nod his head. Okay, so could I have a second on the findings?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the findings? Hearing none. Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. So we have the findings. Okay. I move that the board approve the variance for 82 Clinton Street to waive the frontage requirement for the proposed rear lot and to allow for the subdivision of lot under section 210-117.2 of the zoning bylaws and to grant them 40 feet of relief from the 200 feet of frontage, and to allow them 20 feet of side setback for the existing structure. Do I have a
Second.
Second on my decision?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. Any discussion on the decision? Hearing none. Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Okay. Do you want me to read in any of the facts, John? Just nod your head. Any the additional facts?
Is that-
You can
is
if you
that-
want to. They can be included in the decision without reading them. The findings
Okay.
and the decision are the only things that need to be voted on.
Great. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, Aaron, you're way to go. Thank you very much for taking on this extra work of trying to save Hopkinton history. That whole Clinton Street area is really important to the town. It goes way back, and so thank you very much. And Mr. Thrasher, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time and your help getting through this one. So we'll see you on the next. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey, God bless. Be safe.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay, now let's read in the next one. All right. Maple Street. The Hopkinton Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the uniform application for a special permit petition for variance filed by Nicholas D'Angelo, 12 Maple Street Extension, Hopkinton, Mass. For variances from the minimum frontage and front setback requirements in connection with the proposed creation of additional building lot construction of a new single-family home at 12 Maple Street Extension, Hopkinton, Mass. The property is known as Assessors Map U1941-0. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email zba@hopkintonma.gov, call the Department of Land Use Planning and Permitting at 497-9745, or check with the online meeting calendar agenda for this meeting at hopkintonma.gov. This legal notice is also posted in Massachusetts Newspapers Publishers Association MNPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 26005. Okay, bring you up over here. Okay. Who's going to speak to Maple Street?
My name is George Connors. I'm representing the D'Angelos on this particular property. May I share screen?
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Is that up now?
Coming.
You see my diagram for Maple Street Extension?
Oh, I'm familiar with that. The Bucklands.
Okay. So what we have here is Maple Street Extension is a little bit of a road that comes in and turns the corner and comes down a short way. And this lot here is the subject lot. Now, the assessor's maps from time immemorial shows this as a strip going all the way down here. But that's not really the case. And I'll get into that in just a minute. But you can see we have the area of Maple Street Extension coming in, passing 3 houses. And then in the back corner here is the historic structure on this lot. And it sits what would be previously thought of as a road right-of-way line. And in back is a little shed. And of course, they're right up against property boundaries. As we go to the next drawing, you can see the edge or the end of the paved section of roadway. You can see his vehicles parked here. There is the house. Again, it looks like it's in the road. Again, it's not. There's a little shed back in behind here. This area up here is all open grassed area. It's surrounded by wetlands, and we'll be seeing that in just a few minutes. This is what we are proposing. We now know that this section of the street was transferred to this lot back in 1838. The house was built in 1888. This is the historic structure. And we're intending to keep that and divide the property along this line here, which will be more clear on a later drawing. But this is the plan that would go to the planning board for an A&R endorsement and ultimately recording at the registry of deeds. You can see Maple Street Extension comes down, and that's actually the pavement that serves for this house here that people park. You saw those vehicles parked in that area a minute ago. This lot is going to be larger than required. This lot is going to be larger than is required for that zoning district, and it will have 24 feet of frontage. This lot here will have a little over 100 feet. 100 feet's required. And then we have these little dashed lines coming along like this, which are important to the devising of this property in terms of vital access, which we'll get to with the planning board at some point in time. But because Maple Street is very narrow and very hard to travel, there is going to be a turnaround configuration in here, which we'll show you in a little more detail in a second, that Mr. D'Angelo has dealt with the fire department extensively on this. We will designate that a fire lane, which will ensure that there will be adequate vital access for the emergency vehicles to get in and turn around. This is actually our site plan. The house that exists is over here, and we are going to extend the pavement down a little bit. And along these lines here, this easement line coming in, and that will be not only the driveway, but the area for the fire truck to come in, pull in and back around and make a quicker exit than it could at this present time. The site, as I said, is surrounded by wetlands, and they've worked for about a year with the Conservation Commission to be able to build this particular house in this open lawn area, which has been lawn area for back in time immemorial. When the house was built, it was all farms. The land around it has been ditched for the farms to be able to grow crops and whatever. But those ditches have filled in, and they have created a much higher water table in this area. The property is very, very flat, and it's just as flat as the road coming in here. And the drainage really doesn't make its way out in a very efficient manner. We have a high groundwater table. So we have some issues with the soils and the topography being flat and the groundwater table, which also impact the existing dwelling. It's got a fieldstone foundation with water intrusion in that area. It's a hardship with the structure, and as you know, under zoning, we can have hardships with structures that owe to the grant of a variance. Our variance is really engendered by this particular historic structure bylaw. And in this particular case, the bylaw really doesn't talk about frontage. It talks about size. We had occasion to deal with this bylaw unsuccessfully a couple of years earlier, and it was pointed out that the planning board did not understand that size could be the frontage. That's probably true. I could argue one way and another. That's a very esoteric argument, but nevertheless, it leaves us in a position in which we need to be able to, in order to be able to avail ourselves of the historic structures bylaw and save the house, get some relief relative to frontage. And that's particularly the case here. I would suggest that for the reasons previously discussed relative to hardships on soils and topography, shape is also another big one, and that's because the wetlands bylaw in Hopkinton is much more onerous than the state bylaw. And indeed, we had to pull everything at least 50 feet away from wetlands for our work. The work that the D'Angelos did with their wetlands consultant was extensive. And we also would note that the bylaw says that it has to be natural ground. And indeed, this area here where we're building is not natural ground. But rather than fight that, they worked and were able to work this building into this site without any issues with wetlands, and they were able to get an order of conditions to be able to build this and improve this road. The site will be serviced by a pump sewer out to the street on Maple, and it'll have its own individual well. The existing house will ultimately have a E1 pump as well, and at some point in time, that house will be sold for a different use. The well for the new house will be over in this location, and then the lot will be able to be developed fairly simply and in concert with the requirements for a variance, which include enhancing public safety and vital access. We do need to go to the planning board at some particular point in time for not only the special permit, but for them to decide that we have the rights to use the Maple Ave, because at one point in time when a lot was cut out around the corner, there was a notation on an A&R plan that there'd be no more lots. But we think that because we are providing for emergency access and improving the way, that we'll be able to overcome that particular prohibition and get a waiver for frontage, which the planning board also has in their rules and regulations of 5 points. I think it's either 5.7 or 8.7 section for a waiver on frontage. As you know, planning boards have jurisdiction over vital access of the ways, and I think they'd be able to decide that this particular way is being improved in a manner that would allow for this to enhance the public safety. I'm happy to respond to any questions or comments at this stage rather than continue to discuss this. You know, I have one more point to make, if I could. For a long time, we had a belief that Maple Extension went all the way down to this location. Indeed, Mr. Mish, a land surveyor, who sold the property to the D'Angelos, created a plan and labeled this as owners unknown. And they indicated in 1838, this parcel transferred this piece to this lot. So in our research recently, we were able to determine that this lot, the D'Angelo lot, actually comes down here. And that's why we have our 24-foot of frontage along that line there. I hope that's helpful.
When you said it was determined, who determined that?
Title exam. My title examiner.
Which is
And
who?
of course, Andrew Blake. And what we have done in our plan, this is the Cornerstone plan. I'm an engineer at Cornerstone. We are showing that as the part of the lot.
So let me get this straight. Based on a title examiner's interpretation, you're assuming ownership of a previously unknown ownership piece of land?
It was only unknown to the surveyor when he did that survey in whatever date it was, because surveyors only need to go back 50 years. So that was a 1995 survey.
Okay.
And as I said, in 1838, there was a deed where this strip was taken off of this lot. And just oddly enough, it just was in line with Maple Street at the time. I've included in the application several historic maps going back hundreds of years, showing the area as Maple Street being extended down through there. And granted, they're only graphical, but they are indicative of what one would come up with without going into a title search back beyond 50 years.
Yeah, but it's because I do residential real estate as well, and I know that if they find a piece of land that is undetermined, they're going to keep going back until they find it. Certainly not land court making a decision on ownership. It's a title examiner's opinion, which you're relying on.
Yeah, well, we have the deed.
Okay.
Yeah, we pulled the deed. Look at the whole title report. I can assure you that we own that.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a question. George, the deed, who owns the lot now? Angelo?
D'Angelo.
Does his deed describe the
No, it does not.
he owns?
No, it does not.
So how could he own something that's not in his deed?
Because the title going back from 1838 carried forward that particular parcel as a conveyance to the then owner of that parcel, but no survey was done until such time as this MISH plan for an adjacent lot was created.
A bank would be happy with that.
Well, they will after we get our plan recorded and do a corrective deed.
So when did that lot disappear off the deeds?
It.
Well, because you said it was conveyed in the 1830s, but it isn't on your current deed. So as you went backwards, when did it disappear?
Well, it was a small parcel that was deeded to them, so it never appeared as part of that lot.
So that lot continued to be conveyed without that parcel.
Correct.
Okay.
I think maybe parole evidence would help if you were to look at the location of that house being partially in the street. Remember, it was built in 1888, and you can see that line there. Part of it's in the street. Certainly the people who built it in 1888, which was what, 38, 58 foot, 50 years later, would have known that.
Okay.
What's your concern about that, Michael?
Oh, well, and I apologize. I put on my conveyancer hat. If I'm looking at it, if my guy's going to buy that in the future and I do a deep dive, but that's his seller's concern, not the town's. But he is relying on that to make what his request is. So, like until, the land court determines who actually owns that based on it. And it sounds like based on what he said, they would determine that. You're going to have a little bit of a interesting, potential title search if somebody does a good title search as they go to convey that land. But more importantly, his variance would change based on, because he needs less based on him owning that land, where there's no actual deed into him directly, or that, he says indirectly, but there was no deed to them. That parcel was never merged as a single parcel. And when they did acquire it, whoever acquired it then passed it on, didn't pass it on with that parcel of land. Parcel 1, parcel 2, it was just parcel 1 was passed on. So a couple of things. One, he's relying on that for his variance. And 2 is, to me, it's, until someone determines actual land, title examiners don't determine ownership. They can give opinions. That's my concern, Sean.
Right. And he would have taken that by adverse possession, though, because he's used that portion as his driveway.
Yeah, but adverse possession again is through the courts. It's not
right.
It's not. Oh, you own it now because you've adversely possessed it for 20 years. Do the old thing. But the court determines if you have met the criteria, and then it's granted to them.
Correct. Right.
So it goes back to the same thing. It's his future owners and whoever's going to sell it. I don't know if they're building there and going to sell it, whatever. But if I'm a conveyancing attorney going to buy it, I certainly have some concerns. But he wants the town to assume that it's right, and he is probably correct. But his variance is going to be based on that assumption.
Well, the house has been on it for 200 years also. So,
again,
and that's why I was just concerned that I was concerned there was municipal land because there's no adverse possession on municipal land.
Correct.
But if it was, if it's not municipal land and the house has been on it for 200 years, I'm sure that the land court would say, yeah, okay, you definitely have adverse possession.
It was never municipal land, as indicated by the end of Maple Lane Extension being about 100 feet into this U19 41-0.
Mm-hmm. No,
so there's no part of that parcel that isn't house. It's all house, or is some of it not house?
Say that again.
Is it all Is that parcel that you're talking about that wasn't conveyed, is that all of that is now part of what the house is on top of?
Part of the house is on part of that strip, yes.
Okay.
And then the driveway ends someplace about there existing as pavement, but the actual line is more in this location here, back maybe 15 or so feet. And then from this point down is that parcel, which has been used as parking, access, and whatever to this particular house.
John G., my question is, we're asked to talk about on a presumption of ownership that isn't shown. Can we grant variances based on ownership of property that probably would be shown through land court to be owned by that, but currently isn't?
That's a great question. I would think if that parcel was submitted as part of the application, the owner would need to sign, right? And then you would need to establish ownership for that. If the application is just for the U19-410 lot, that's different. I don't know what the timeline is. The board could always continue this hearing and try and get some more information or some feedback from town council, or Mr. Connors can provide some legal information to help justify that if that's what the board would want. If the board wouldn't even take that, then that's an exercise.
I would feel more comfortable because, again, this being just like the last one with Mr. Masterson saying, look, if they're trying to keep the building and then there's going to be no access to it and everything else and all of that, I'd feel more comfortable if Mr. Connors could take it. We could continue the meeting to whatever date that he needs to show us that. Because I'm comfortable with how it works, except for this one little glitch. It's exactly like the last one. We're saving the structure, and I appreciate the Delangelos, keeping an antique structure where they could just tear it down and not need us at all. But if you could just show that if we give that 24 feet of frontage, that it actually is frontage that D'Angelo's own, that would make it a lot easier, and it'll be a slam dunk the next time he comes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mr. Connors, you think you might, are you amenable to that?
Yeah, I think we are.
That'd be great. Yeah, because it's, other than that, it's, because the shape of the land and the wetlands and and giving the access to the fire department that doesn't exist now. I see that as an improvement to the Maple Street extension, to have that hammerhead for the fire truck. So I see it. It's this new house as really improving the area. So if you could just show that, I think the next meeting will go really quickly.
Okay.
Could I have so Ms. Connors, how much time do you think you'll need?
A week. I can have the answer to you in a couple of days.
You're going to be able to show ownership of that parcel within a couple of days?
Yeah, I've got the title.
The title is an opinion.
I understand that.
Yeah, if you could just have something showing that more than that title, because Mr. Riley and Mr. Masterson seem to not be as comfortable with that. If there's anything else that you can find. Because we'll give as much time as you want, and because this is the only thing that's holding it up. And so whatever time you need to just make it as official as possible, because basically we're basing our entire decision on that 24 feet.
Understood. When's your next meeting?
I think first week of December.
I'd like to be on that then.
Our
Okay.
next meetings are in December, December 10th and December 17th.
Yeah, so we can, December 10th, okay, Mr. Connors?
Please.
Beautiful. Yes, that's okay with the Angelos. Okay, so can I get a motion to continue this till December 10th?
May I ask one question? Is there any other issues that you have with respect to the proposal? If there are, like,
Yeah, considering what works out well and what works in your favor is that we just went over all of this in the previous one, which works out really well that you guys, it's that they're very similar. And, and with the way Mr. Masterson described the last one, this one, it fits in the same thing, the wetlands and everything else. And the way that you did the hammerhead for the fire department is above and beyond. I like that. So I really see this as, if you can just prove that the 24 feet of frontage that we're giving you is actually their land, I think it'll go through fine.
okay, I just.
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Would you poll the board?
But the I've seen a lot of these, and I'm just really glad that I get to see a bylaw that I reworked 15, 20 years ago, really working well right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, John, do you think that we need to have town council weigh in on whether we would be able to vote if it's solely based on the title exam and the title report?
Well, I'm asking for more than just a title exam.
Okay.
There has to be proof of ownership. You can't, somehow you have to have proof of ownership in order to rely on those markings at those specific spots for the special permit.
Mhm.
You have to show that you own it. And if it's undetermined who owns it, then I mean, how can the board come up with a decision that it grants it from those spots? And they absolutely sounds like they'd have a claim of adverse possession. It absolutely seems like that, but without something official,
yeah.
If you're buying the property, you're going to have a wonder, and your title company is going to have a wonder and go, well, what's this? And where did you get this? And they're going to probably make you want to go to land court.
I think he understands that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not a quick process.
Nope.
And he can always extend it.
Yeah.
Well, during the holiday season, I don't know.
During any time.
Yeah. John, I got 3 cases going on there. Just it's like it's a wasteland.
Hey, just try and get a building permit through right now. Sorry, Mr. Shepherd. Now I just screwed myself. All right. So Mr. Connors, so if you do need more time, just feel free to contact the Department of Land Use, and we can reschedule to any time that you need.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Okay, so let's have a motion to continue the hearing to December 10th, unless we hear anything else.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Mr. Burton.
Oh, Mr. Burton, sorry.
Yes.
Your picture's not up. You weren't talking, so your picture never showed up. Okay, and I vote the affirmative also. Excellent. Thank you very much. Mr. Connors, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It was a really great presentation.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, guys. Okay, Deanna, do we have anything else? So now we have a meeting on the 10th.
Yeah, we have a meeting scheduled for next week, but I'm going to cancel that because we have nothing. So our next one will be the 10th. It'll be that one, and then that remand for that accessory dwelling unit.
Okay, so we can think about that. So if we think we can squeeze that, I actually want to meet with with John and town council before that also.
Yeah, we have to get that in a certain amount of days. We did get a little bit of an extension, but we have to do it
Okay.
on that December 10th meeting.
Okay.
Which property was that?
25 Chamberlain.
That was the accessory dwelling unit.
Oh yeah, because he sold that property. The Challenger, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Yeah,
that was
on the
the,
corner of
No, I think the court wanted more information on your findings, like why you're for the
We need to
that's why we
articulate our
allowed them the
findings.
1,000 square feet over the 900.
yeah, but he sold that property. The Challenger.
Oh,
The
I don't.
neighbor sold
We
the
hadn't
property.
heard that at all. So
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
that I knew.
that's-
That I know.
Okay. All right. So we can't be discussing this right now anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. So if there's nothing else, let's just do the minutes later.
I
Let's
didn't
do-
even put them on there yet because I'd been
Okay.
out. So I have them. I'll get them sent to you.
Okay. Then we'll get those.
I wanted to say, welcome back.
Thanks.
Thank you. Excellent. All right. So if there's nothing else, HCAM, thank you very much for covering us. It was really a fun meeting. Hope everybody got to see that the preservation of antique structures does work. What that bylaw does work. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Shepherd for coming also. All right. And without further ado, a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Masterson,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative also. Adina, thank you. John, thank you very much. And again, thank you, HCAM. Have a great night, everybody. God bless. Be safe. Have a great week.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
All right, everyone.
Good night.